Tristan from the Center for Humane Technology, and you may know our work from the film The Social Dilemma. Today I want to quickly argue that the real issues of technology is that the complexity of the world with technology is increasing, and our ability to respond to that complexity with wisdom to make good choices is not matching up. Wilson said the fundamental problem of humanity is we have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. In The Social Dilemma, in our work at the Center for Humane Technology, we usually talk about how technology hacks our brains and our emotions. It's actually accelerating the godlike technology. There are new techniques now where technology can actually take a text like "a girl stood in the blossoming sunset valley, pondering the mountains in the distance, peaceful pastel palette, matte painting," and from scratch, it will generate an image like this. You can give it the text, "This coffee has been laced with LSD," and it will generate this image completely from scratch. That's the pace at which this new technology is emerging. So how can we solve the problems of the social dilemma if technology keeps moving faster ahead?
Now, think about this. If you don't have anybody telling you about this, nobody posting about it, nobody telling you like Tucker Carlson or anybody who has a podcast, interviewing anybody. I find it interesting nobody's interviewing Tristan, but just ponder. If you have no idea about this in your brain, before you go sharing stuff, imagine what that can do.
Of course, we're in a real situation with a war in Ukraine, and we're seeing now images come out of Ukraine that look like this and like this. But are these images that I'm showing you now, are they real images? Or did I give this same AI this text, #breaking news, massive explosion reported over Kharkiv, Ukraine, and it generated these images from scratch?
Do you see that?
When I can post these on Twitter at scale, using technology to synthesize millions of images, this is like a neutron bomb for trust on the internet. And
exactly. Now let me give you a demonstration. Let's take a look at this here. Let's really look closely at what we're seeing here. Let's ponder if this is even feasible to all be going on at the same time. A helicopter blowing below a giant group of people. Right? Or would this massive amount of people be all standing in one place to be killed all at the same time for any enemy that can literally hook up to the satellite and look down below? This is the problem here. People don't even realize that children that have not grown up through the internet, knowing the rotary dial phone, knowing AOL, knowing pixelated video games, are now born into a world where the video game looks real. Okay? The technology looks real. There's a select group of people who were born to see this whole process. And the vast majority of the rest have no clue about it. Can't even conceptualize it. So now add AI to it. Now add bad actors on top of the ignorance. And what will you get? how many people do you even think will take the time to read the comments? CGI is pretty good here. The guy putting it together needs to have a think about why there would be hundreds of thousands of troops running about an airfield with Apaches and C-17s landing. Nice try. But when you're in a world today that boys think they're girls and girls think they're boys and their own parents are helping to mutilate them, just ponder the vast majority of ignorance in this world right now. What everybody needs to realize is the only way to make sure you have obedient workers, if you were going to take over, you would have to purge all the conscious, non-obedient, willful people, the people that are free-willed, that have a mind of their own, free thinkers. And how do you do such a thing? COVID-19. So now everybody in every position of power, of the military, of law enforcement, of the medical institutions, of the schooling system, every single essential in the United States of America is now an obedient essential, because they already purged the free thinkers. Do you realize that? Do you understand that? So, that's why you have to have people willing to go to the locations and show you the truth. You cannot trust the screen anymore, people. Do you understand that?
What the media won't show you? Yo, what the news won't show you? But I will. Watch this and prepare.
This is not a drill. This is the collapse of the republic. The border has been completely removed. Millions are being held in federal centers now that have been overwhelmed. The border is collapsing now. Millions are coming.
The southern border has been completely collapsed by design as a direct attack on the United States of America.
Our city is being overrun. 92% of the people out here are military-aged males.
The Border Patrol is reporting 150,000 people are currently on the Texas border, about to come across in the next 48 hours.
And they've told us that Border Patrol and immigration officials have unofficially asked them to come here to get processed today, so the process of them getting their papers can be expedited.
It looks like there's hundreds, if not thousands, of the illegal immigrants basically set up in shanty towns.
They're crossing through a gap and they're reunifying here at Sacred Heart Church because the church is being used as a safe haven for them to keep them from being deported. I've never seen anything like this.
Just massive, unrelenting, unimaginable hordes of illegal migrants crossing over the border.
The majority of them single adult males.
Don't believe the reports. Oh, these are refugees. These are not refugees.
As you just see people waiting in line, stretching as far as the eye can see. There are bus caravans coming up now from the Darien Gap in Panama. So you're telling me all these people are really just illegal immigrants? I mean, this is crazy.
And the stench down here, it's unbearable.
This flooding of the border, the invasion of military-aged men from Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, all these areas are really the dregs of the society of those areas. They're bringing in the dregs across into America, and you will see an explosion of crimes and horrors unlike any other time in the history.
We
we have a serious invasion here and we need help. We're importing a third world class welfare dependent citizen. Fuck you guys, America. Fuck El Paso. Fuck El Paso PD. And fuck the feds and fuck the Border Patrol. Go home. Go home. You go home. We're safe right home.
So this is what you get when you get illegal entry into this country, guys. This is what you get. You get people that disrespect this country, that don't love this country, and don't love the freedoms. And this is what Joe Biden is bringing in.
So now, what else you need to understand?
There was a movie, I don't know if you've seen The Book of Eli. You ever seen the movie Book of Eli with Denzel Washington or no, where he's blind and he has this book that he has to touch and that's how he reads the Bible. And this one man is trying to get the Bible because back then people weren't reading. And he said, if I can get the Bible, I can control people's minds, but I can't teach them how to read because if they stay dumb, I can control them and lead them. It just takes me there. But you and I, when you and I were talking offline, I was showing this painting. I showed you these two different books and you said you read both of them. One of them is Communist Manifesto. The other one is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. Yeah. And the other one is by Karl Marx. You had a chance to read both of them, yes?
I read 80% Atlas Shrugged.
Okay, it's a big book. It's a very big book.
I read 5 times of Communist Manifesto. Not because it was good. Because in North Korea, I was like, I just wanted to read that book. Why this book, this ideology killed that many people? In this world, nothing has killed more than communism. Like Mao killed 50 to 60 million people. I mean, can you, like Stalin, nothing. Not even Nazism, not even poverty, not even nuclear war. Nothing killed more than communism in this world, in human history. And that's why I was like, I just had to read this damn thing. Like, what was this that killed, destroyed my people, it killed my father. It killed my father. I just had to read it and reading and just made no sense. And then it's like, I just stopped there. I was like, okay, there's no point of me keep reading because I just want you to understand the mindset why they were doing this. But it's just so evil. You sound like so nice, but what it comes to is so evilness, the greed of power, control, and you do not respect you don't trust the human decency, and you believe you have to control them, and like collectivism, all of this is like complete disrespect the human dignity.
Why do you think the concept of socialism and communism and folks like Bernie Sanders or AOC or even a younger crowd that's coming up right now? The other day, an article came out from Harvard saying 57% of the youth accept socialism as a way and they think capitalism is bad. Why do you think in a country where you and I couldn't wait to get to because this is our dream, right? All these freedoms, why do you think this concept of socialism and communism is so attractive in the U.S. educational system with many politicians today in America saying America's a bad country? I mean, I read an article that came out yesterday written by Business Insider by Margaret Ward. What's her last name? Margaret, something like that, where she said the top 5 best countries to raise kids in and the top 5 worst countries to raise kids in. I think the top 5 worst, 5th place was Bulgaria, 4th place was Turkey. I don't remember who 3rd place was. 2nd place was U.S. as the worst country to raise kids in. And 1st place was Mexico. And this whole concept of Americans bashing America, that we should go to European or socialism or communism is not really that bad. Why do you think that's happening in America? And how do you view it when people start saying things like that?
I absolutely have no... I think I can understand why some people are saying that because, communism was tried. And whenever it was tried, it failed, right? But people bought it at that time. Like people started following Lenin and they bought the idea. So I can see how...
So you're buying an ideology, an idea that's implanted in the brains of millions of people. And now you have technology enabling the planting of multiple things that aren't reality.
So, like, because of your so malnourished, our height is so short. You are the constructor. You do every manual labor, and they don't even feed you. So you are completely malnourished, and that is how the regime make money by owning 25 million slaves. You make them hackers. You test on them like body medical test on them. You sell all crazy things on them. You just abuse them and you sell them and you use them, and that's how the dictator can be, the god of 21st century.
Yeah, let me ask you this. When they send these folks out, the slaves out to go help Siberia, build a statue in Africa and all this stuff, how do they hold them accountable so they don't escape and not come back?
So, right, they check through their family backgrounds. They make sure their family has no, bad, political prisoners. So they check rigorously their family, backgrounds, how loyal they were, and they hold their families as a hostage. So they keep their children.
Makes sense.
Yeah, when this man goes to foreign things, they have to be married and have kids.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they keep their child and mother, wife, and everybody as a hostage. And they also, when they go to the foreign place, it's not like they are mingled to that foreign society. They build their own camp and keep it. All those banners, all those self-criticism session, and they cannot go outside the camp. There are secret police going with them. So when they go to abroad, it's not like they're like us, can go to supermarket whenever they want. They are in the camp and they're completely controlled by the regime, even when they're out abroad.
So it's, you listen to this stuff and you're
So think about that. Everybody you're seeing, are they coming with their wives and children? No, they're not.
Dozens, if not hundreds of these buses all throughout El Paso, all throughout Texas, taking illegal immigrants everywhere. And it's more important to protect the illegal immigrants and drive this bus through a ravine across the border so they can get them on without the American media seeing them. And this bus is going to take them somewhere deep in the heart of Texas, drop them off. But Border Patrol tells us the border's secure, nobody's crossing, nobody's coming in illegally as it happens right in front of our face.
Move back. Move back. Move back.
Obedient order takers, order followers, slaves, peasants, the king's army.
Yeah, get out of the way, Americans. There's illegals coming in. Get out of the way, dirty Americans. We got non-citizens we gotta help. You dirty, stinking Americans. This isn't your country. Get out of the way.
Cue the Imperial March.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm so glad that we're making sure that the media can't see Biden's border invasion. They drive 30-foot buses through ravines so the media can't see Biden's border invasion, and they send border agents out here telling us it's not happening.
Okay.
Ludicrous. So are they going to block our cameras too? Yeah, make sure we can't see it. Very nice. Make sure nobody can see Biden's border invasion. Make sure nobody can see the illegal immigrants. You dirty, stinking Americans.
I'm sorry.
Your country gets more. Yeah, you dirty Americans. Get out of the way. This is the illegal immigrants' country. What do you guys think you're doing? This country's for illegal immigrants. You guys are dirty Americans. Get out of the way. How rude of you. How rude of you to think you have a country anymore. Hey, let's get another truck up here so no media can see this. In fact, let's just ban the media. Hey, guys, we're going to need you to shut your cameras off. We cannot document Biden's border invasion, okay? Everybody shut your cameras down. No free speech. The Border Patrol's here and tell me to shut up, too. Sir, he says, an American citizen. An American citizen. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy's ridiculous.
Allow the other media to be able to cover this.
No media. No media though. Hey, no media. Nobody see the illegal immigrants. It's not happening. It's not happening. Sir, am I okay to be upset? Do I have the right to redress grievances here?
But you're not being, you're being discourteous to your
I'm being discourteous. A wide open border, but I'm being discourteous. I love it.
Allow them to
I love it.
report.
They can record. Nobody's stopping them. Nobody's stopping them except you guys. Look, she's trying to stop the media. You guys don't want us to see this. You drove a bus through a ravine. You drove a bus through a ravine so we couldn't see this. Do you think the American people are stupid? Do you guys think the American people are stupid? Do you guys like this? You guys like, get out of the way, dirty Americans. Shut off your cameras. Nobody's allowed to see. There is no Biden border invasion.
The game is over. When we literally, they can't even give it to all 30. We need to come together and do one thing: stop participating. And when we do that, the game is over. When we literally say Monday morning, we're not going to go to work. Imagine if 30 million people didn't go to work Monday. Imagine if 30 million people didn't buy gas on Monday. Imagine if 30 million people went to the bank on Monday and said, I want to withdraw all my money. They can't even give it to all 30 million because only 15% of the cash is available on hand at any given time. The rest is fake zeros and ones. That would collapse the banking system in one day. You see the power in that? You have the power. We all have the power. But what's keeping us back from doing this? Fear. Oh my God, if I don't go to work, I'm going to get fired. And if they don't participate in it, and I'm the only one that doesn't show up for work, I'm going to lose out, and I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. I'm not going to be able to make my car payment, and so forth and so on. You see the trap they have us in? They have us in this system where we're afraid to work together. Man, we're brothers. We should be, link up. Let's do this together.
4 years ago.
Thank you. Great. Yes. Welcome, everybody. As chairman of RUSI, it's a great pleasure to welcome you here tonight to the Royal United Services Institute and to the Duke of Wellington Hall specifically. Please turn your phones to silent if you haven't done so already. And in the event of an emergency, join the RUSI staff over there who will direct you to the entrance you came in or to the emergency doors on the right. The Royal United Services Institute was founded in 1831. The first Duke of Wellington was our first chairman. And we claim to be the world's oldest think tank, usually. And we have here tonight one of the world's newest and deepest thinkers to think with this think tank, Yuval Noah Harari, and it's a great pleasure to have him here tonight. We will range more widely than our normal subjects of conflict and defense and security in which we specialize, although these will no doubt feature in our discussion this evening, because a discussion with Yuval is a discussion about everything that human beings have done or are doing or might do in the future. And he has gone from specializing in world history, medieval history, and military history to writing 3 acclaimed books about most of the things that we as human beings get up to. In Sapiens, his first book, he described our history, how we drove other species of humans to extinction and much else besides. And having passed through a cognitive revolution, an agricultural revolution, and a scientific revolution, we're now on the brink of the end of Homo sapiens, he wrote, as we move from natural selection to intelligent design. And then in Homo Deus, he described what our future might look like, how we might become unaccountable gods, wreaking havoc on our own ecosystem, or have already become that in many ways, and we might divide into a society where some become superhuman beings. And now in his latest book, which is on sale with the others outside from Waterston's, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, he focuses on today's most urgent issues. So Yuval, welcome to RUSI and welcome to our invited audience and to people watching us live streamed wherever you may be in the world. And I want to start with a point that is a very familiar subject to everybody here, but which you illuminate particularly clearly and mercilessly at the beginning of your latest book, which is what's happening to liberal democracy. You write that liberal elites are in a state of shock and disorientation. And here we are dealing with Brexit, with President Trump, with the Italian government. We are definitely in a state of disorientation. And you write that in 1938, though humans had 3 stories to choose from. In 1968, they had 2. In 1998, there seemed to be only 1. Liberalism. From 2008, we're down to 0. So let's start with explain and expand upon that. And what, for those of us still attached to liberal democracy, what hope is there for us? No, there's still
Well, he said 1938, right? And he said superhuman, godlike people, right?
Saying that it was okay to sterilize. But it didn't go further. While in Germany it became the leading ideology, then it was implemented into action.
Hitler promised the German people they were creating the master race.
I think the master race would have been the Nazis' view of a strong, blonde, blue-eyed, healthy person who had no genetic defects and who was pure Aryan.
So let's pause right there. Now, 3 years ago, which nobody's telling you about, haven't been telling you about, which you had no idea about before your injection or before mRNA ever entered your brain, what was going on in science.
Mother Nature gave us something that's richer than our imagination.
We saw a very peculiar pattern.
Never seen anything like this before.
I remember him saying, remember this word, CRISPR.
We've never had the ability to change the fundamental chemical nature of who we are, and now we do. And what do we do with that?
Now look at the comment of a person of color saying science is not playing God. Science is using the knowledge God provides. You think she'd be saying the same thing in 1938?
David's doctor told me, just hold on, there's something coming.
You can actually use CRISPR to change DNA. You can actually do it.
We could engineer a single gene that could potentially make us all more muscular. But should we make that universally available?
Что человек может создавать человека, человек, который может воевать без страха и
Man can create man who can fight without fear or pain.
без боли. И вот
This might be worse than the nuclear bomb. In 2017, that's the Russian president saying it. Therefore, the Russian president was aware of this before all the American people. Before all your government even, still to this day, is not telling you about it. And you still don't get it.
то, о чем я сейчас сказал, может быть страшнее ядерной бомбы.
Should we really be manipulating the heredity of future generations?
You think that when they created this ad, that they didn't pick this specific scene after they said engineering a complete generation. Do you realize that, right? Now, the first comment is saying science is not playing God. Science is using knowledge God provides. Do you think they would be saying that in 1930s?
Given our lack of knowledge about so many things.
I don't know where you draw the line between not having albinism and
Not having albinism and deciding
your kid needs to be an extra foot taller so they can
if your kid needs to be an extra foot taller so they could
be a good oarsman and go to Yale.
So they could go to Yale.
Where is that line? Who's going to draw that?
Anything that will stop my child from suffering, I'm for.
You know, draw this ethical line wherever you want, but don't draw it in front of my disease.
What does that mean for this science, where we have the capacity to edit in some things that we think are important? Are we playing God?
You don't realize it's disruptive until you look backward. Often you don't realize that you're in the middle of a revolution until after the revolution has occurred.
Often you don't realize you're in the middle of a revolution until after the revolution has occurred. Let's go back to the facts. To the knowledge that everybody doesn't know.
In the 1920s and 30s, Germany's medical community was considered the best in the world.
You weren't a real doctor in the U.S. unless you went to Germany to study, and then you came back.
You weren't a real a real intellectual unless you went to Yale and became a good oarsman.
Back and said, I studied in Germany.
I think with that came some arrogance and some feeling that we are so superior to everybody else.
I studied medicine in Germany. I know some of the best teaching of anatomy, physiology, and medicine came from Germany. Germany was very advanced, not only in the medical field, but Germany was the best civilization among the European countries.
It was the height of technology, the height of science. And how was it possible that these people became murderers?
How was it possible? In the height of technology, we could create godlike beings. Because we're so captured, domesticated, and hackable. We think we're these brilliant think tanks. Because we could pick up our partner that lived down the street from us and be gay. And we think we're superior now. Yeah, you didn't know? You didn't know that story about your boy, Harari? The very disconnect from reality, from reproduction in every species of the planet.
The majority of nurses were not members of the Nazi Party. However, to have a job in Germany, a nurse had to belong to one of several nursing organizations.
Oh, so you had to. Right? So what did I say at the beginning? You got to purge out the free thinkers. You got to keep the obedient workers. That's why you do that first. You need to wake up, people.
The greatest form of control is where you think you're free when you're being fundamentally manipulated and dictated to. One form of dictatorship is being in a prison cell and you can see the bars and touch it. The other one is sitting in a prison cell but you can't see the bar, you think you're free.
What the human race is suffering from is mass hypnosis. We are being hypnotized by people like this. Newsreaders, politicians, teachers, lecturers.
We are in a country and in a world that is being run by unbelievably sick people. The chasm between what we're told is going on and what is really going on is absolutely enormous.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, who wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
Everybody is slaves, only some are aware that the government released Lucifer is God in the public school system. I suggest you open up your ears and you listen.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us modern day slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds, who wanna wake up to a dead in the grave. But then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
If you can persuade them that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see, you got them. Because they'll lack in the face of an explanation that portrays the bigger picture of what's happening.